Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving straight into a massive legal development that has been making serious waves across Pakistan regarding divorce property rights. We are unpacking the recent and highly debated Amara Waqas case. Now, if you've been following this, you know there is a ton of misinformation swirling around right now. So, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise, look strictly at the facts, and break down exactly what the court actually said. Okay, let's just jump right into the elephant in the room and address this viral question that is literally sweeping the country. If you've scrolled through social media or chatted with friends lately, you've probably heard this exact question pop up. Some people are even stating it like it's a brand new, hard and fast rule. Does a divorced wife automatically get 50% of her husband's property?
Well, the viral rumor suggests that, yes, there is now a mandatory automatic 50% split of a husband's property upon divorce. But the legal reality, it's completely different. There is absolutely no automatic 50-50 split created by this recent judgment. Instead, the division of any property is highly nuanced, and it's based entirely on specific contributions. It's just so absolutely crucial that we separate that rumor from the reality right here at the start.
So Section 1, the Amara Waqas judgment, specifically Islamabad High Court, WP No. 365 of 2023. Here's what happened. The court was asked to examine a really complex, deeply personal issue. How exactly do you handle the division of property acquired during a marriage once that marriage actually ends? Now, to be clear, the judges weren't looking at property owned before the wedding. They aren't dividing up an inherited family home. They were looking specifically at what happens to shared assets, things like houses, cars, or savings built up while the couple was together. Moving to Section 2, defining matrimonial property, and looking at marriage as an economic partnership. The whole crux of this case relies on this definition right here. Matrimonial property refers to the assets acquired during a marriage. But pay real close attention to how the court views this. It's seen as the result of a shared economic partnership. So the court is framing marriage as not just a social contract, but as a joint economic endeavor, where both parties are in it, building assets together.
Which leads us to Section 3, valuing unpaid domestic labor, going beyond just direct financial contributions.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. The court had to weigh different types of contributions. The traditional view usually just focuses on direct financial inputs, right? Income, wages, who directly paid the mortgage. But here, the court explicitly acknowledged unpaid domestic work, childcare, and household management. They basically recognize that a homemaker's efforts have real, tangible economic value. That unpaid labor frees up the other partner to go out and work, which directly contributes to the household's overall ability to acquire those assets.
So how does this actually apply to physical items? Well, they broke it down into categories. First, dowry. That is legally recognized as belonging exclusively to the wife. Second, personal belongings, which is pretty straightforward. But the real debate? That centers on property registered solely in the husband's name. The court noted that just having a name on a deed doesn't make an asset immune to a contribution analysis. If the wife's unpaid labor allowed the husband to acquire that property, well, her contribution absolutely matters.
On to Section 4, the power of the Nikahnama and contractual arrangements in marriage.
The judgment really hit the nail on the head here by highlighting that contractual arrangements explicitly made at the time of marriage play a massive legal role. The Nikahnama isn't just some formality you sign and forget about. The stipulations written into it are incredibly powerful tools for securing legal rights from day one. It just heavily emphasizes the importance of clear agreements regarding property and contributions right at the very inception of the marriage.
Let's look at Section 5, controversy and ongoing appeals. Because yes, the legal debate continues.
As you can imagine, there are two main viewpoints driving this controversy right now. On one side, you have the progressive interpretation. This side argues that the judgment rightfully recognizes the tangible economic value of unpaid domestic labor, offering some long overdue fairness to homemakers. But on the flip side, critics are arguing for strict adherence to formal property titles and existing legal precedents. They're expressing a lot of concern that straying from formal ownership documents could create some dangerous legal uncertainty.
And because of these competing views, this is very much an active, unfolding situation. It's not settled law. While the initial Islamabad High Court judgment was handed down in March 2026, there are active challenges currently sitting before the Federal Shariat Court as we speak. Ultimately, this whole matter is pending final resolution in the Supreme Court. So the law is in motion right now. It is not yet entirely settled.
All right, let's distill this whole shebang down into our final practical takeaways from the source material. Number one, and say it with me, there is no automatic 50% property split.
Number 2, the Islamabad High Court did weigh unpaid household and child care contributions in its analysis of matrimonial property. 3, the Nikahnama remains a crucial, highly powerful legal tool for defining rights. And finally, the overall legal position in Pakistan on this issue is still very much subject to ongoing judicial review by higher courts. That brings us to the end of this explainer, but I want to leave you with a provocative question to really chew on. Should Pakistani law formally recognize a wife's unpaid household and childcare contributions when matrimonial property is divided? Take a look at the arguments, keep your eyes peeled on the ongoing appeals, and think critically about what the future of matrimonial property law should actually look like. Thanks so much for joining me today, and definitely keep an eye on how this fascinating legal debate unfolds.